I'm Tiva, and today I'm interviewing.
My name is Eric Prestley. I am a fashion designer and second grade teacher. I've been afforded opportunities to do a lot of great things, excited, but I've also experienced some not so good things in life. And so I'm here to kind of inspire, motivate, and help Tiva gain some understanding about a few things. Yeah.
Do you know what a bully is?
Each person's definition of a bully is different. My version of a bully is someone who says and does mean things to other people to make them feel bad.
The next question: have you ever been affected by bullying?
Absolutely. I'm different, and that'll be something later in life that you'll understand. But unfortunately, this world isn't very nice to people who are different. No two persons are alike in any way, shape, or form. And I don't know, you just have folks who do and say mean things. And I have had bullies do and say mean things to me. I have, and there's still some scars from back when I was you guys' ages where I was bullied. Here I am, an adult, older, and they still affect me to this day. So yes.
Okay, good question. How did you handle it?
How did I handle it? Okay. Very interesting question. I didn't at all. Like, I eternalized it, and what that means is I kept it, I held it to myself.
So, brings back memories. Okay, so how did I handle it? I didn't handle it at all. I didn't. I just kept it inside. I didn't really feel like I could talk to anybody, and it wasn't because I couldn't talk to anybody. It was embarrassing. I was trying to understand it myself, and I just couldn't. And so I felt like if I were to tell people that I knew what was going on, they would probably bully me too. Now, that's not everybody's experience, but sometimes bullying occurs from the folks that we don't expect it to come from, like family. And I've experienced that also. So it's like, if y'all are saying the same things that the bullies are saying, then why do I come and tell y'all anything? So I just held it inside.
Okay, next I'm going to tell you about my brother.
Okay.
The first thing I got to tell you about him is his name was hard spelled backwards, and he was bullied, and he didn't like that. His favorite colors were red and blue, and he handled it by taking his own life. So, yeah.
I understand. I really, really understand. First and foremost, I hate that it had to come to that, but I understand. Like, that was almost me. I wanted to take my life more than once because I just felt like the world didn't understand me, and this wasn't a place for somebody like me. And it's simply because of the things that were being said and done to me. And unfortunately, you have multiple people within this world that are on the cusp of doing that exact same thing, taking their lives because they don't have anyone to talk to. And in my case, when I was being bullied, my friends, the persons that I would talk to about things, occasionally they would do the same thing. Like, if we were together, my friends and I by ourselves, then we were friends. But when the other people will come around that talked about me and did things to me, when they came around, those friends of mine, those friends did the exact same thing to be cool. So you have a great deal of bullies who are doing things just to be cool. And that's what they were doing. So in result, yeah, I wanted to take my life.
Okay. What does it mean to have a heart?
What does it mean to have a heart? Lord, to have a heart? What does it mean to have a heart? That's a good one. Fair opening question. I hate to be rude, not rude, but I hate to be down when I answer that question. But to have a heart would be to be open to hurt, because people break your heart. People are going to break your heart. And you're not going to have to do absolutely anything for people to break your heart. You're going to have people who you love deeply who are going to break your heart. To have a heart is to be nice, to be giving, to be loyal, to be respectful, to be loving, to care, to want better, to support, to do all things great. But you have to also be ready to have that heart broken into pieces. And that's what it means to have a heart, to me.
Okay, Mr. How do you have a heart?
How do I have a heart? Ooh. Well, okay. I have a heart because a lot of the hurt that I've sustained from other people, like bullies, I've learned to love them in spite of what they've done to me. And it's hard. It's really hard because some hurts hurt worse than others. And so some hurts are mental, some hurts are verbal, and some hurts are physical. Some hurts are physical. And I've experienced bullying from all of those angles. So for me to not want any ill will or anything bad to happen to the persons who've hurt me, that's to me what it means to have a heart. And of course, to be caring and loving to the persons that I care about who have not hurt me. Yeah, but to have a heart is to just really be forgiving.
Unfortunately, we tend to pay too much attention to the negative aspects of things. Like, a person can tell us that we're beautiful, we're cute, we're smart, we're brave, we're funny. And yeah, we'll accept that because I guess we're supposed to technically. But it's always those negative comments like you're ugly, you're fat, you're dumb. Things like that just sticks with us. Because I know for me, those things stuck with me. So I say all that to say that I came from a loving family. Like I did. I honestly did. But I guess I listen more to what the naysayers had to say. I don't know why those opinions matter to me more than the I guess because I expected my family to say nice things to me, and that wasn't always the case, but it's expected. So I guess really your friends tend to know you more than your family do, because you feel more open with sharing things about yourself with them, even the not so good things, and they tend not to judge you as much as your family would. So it's like when negative stuff comes from people who are supposed to know you, like think about school, you're being bullied at school. Technically, we spend more time at school than we do at home. You're at school for 8 to 9 hours a day, and that's not including extra activities that you may be doing. You're only at home for like 6 or 7 before you right back at school. So you spend most of your time amongst your peers, amongst your friends, amongst your teachers. So of course, those things that they say, those mean things, are going to follow you. And not to mention, if somebody else hears them say those things and they start picking up on it and they start saying those things, and then somebody else here and they start saying those things, like, it's just tough because everywhere you turn, you're looked at as whatever they're saying that you are. Why wasn't that an option of mine? Honestly, at the time, like, if I knew, and I'm gonna be 100% honest, if I knew what it was for real back then I probably would have did it. I didn't know. Like, nowadays, y'all have more access as kids to everything, even the not so good stuff. For me, we barely had computers back when I was young. I think computers were like black and green, the screens. There was no internet and stuff like that. So y'all have research, y'all have social media now where y'all can connect to other persons who are feeling the exact same way as you. I didn't have that. So I really did not know what it was. I don't think I knew what it was until middle school-ish, high school. And by that time, it started getting a little bit better. And I had become stronger because I had gotten to learn who I was. So, yeah, I have felt that way recently, I must admit. And what stopped me is because depression runs in my family. And bullying will turn into depression, by the way. Depression runs in my family. And I was one who decided to go and seek the help needed. So that's i.e. counselors, therapists, people, professional people. Because
in black families, unfortunately, we turn to the Bible, which don't get me wrong, the Bible's good, God is good, faith is good. But God put people on this earth for reasons to help you. And I decided to go and get the help. And that help helped me to heal. I'm still healing. So that means that I'm not healed yet. I'm still in the process of healing. But what stopped me from doing it now within the most recent years and recent months was me knowing that if I leave this earth, there could be someone in my family or someone that I know that won't get the help that they need because I'm no longer here, because I'm taking the time to really do what I have to do to get better. And for some of my family members that deal with depression, we're just putting a name on it. Within the last maybe 10 years, it always had a name too, but we're just putting a primary focus on it right now. So they just swept it under the rug for years and just, go pray about it. God is good and this, that, and the third. Well, sometimes I need a little bit more than a God is good. Sometimes getting on my knees and praying, I don't want to say instantaneous message or instantaneous reply, but I need to feel better now before this gets ugly. So what stopped me is taking the necessary steps of talking to people who can assist me with that, and thinking about my nephews and my sisters and my brothers who may be dealing with the same thing, that I can save them, I can help them. Yeah.
Okay. Another question, Mr. This is a big question.
Okay.
A question that you love.
Okay.
A question that you never forget, and it's a question because we're going to have a model walk for the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bullying model walk, and I want you to be one of the designers.
I will be more than happy to. This will be my first fashion show first off, this will be my first fashion show in maybe 2 years, because I had stepped away from the fashion show circuit. But in that time, I've gotten so much better in my craft, and I can probably now make something that could tell that story of what bullying feels like. Because for the longest, I never really processed what it felt like myself. I just knew I was going through it. So now I can put a face to a name. So, yeah.
Okay, Mr. Eric, why did you start designing?
Why did I start designing? Okay, so back when I was at the ages where I was being bullied the absolute most, and that was around 7, 8, 9, and up, I would try to escape to this world of happiness that only I knew of for me. And so I would draw like pictures of people and pictures of buildings and pictures of cars. I always thought that I'd probably be a car designer because I always drew pictures of cars. I've always loved colors, textures, and patterns and things of that sort. I never really got off into designing clothes, like making clothes, until I was 27 years old. So I had never sewn a garment, didn't know how to do anything to a garment ever, besides spend money that I didn't have to get it. But I love to dress though. But dressing costs a lot of money. And at one of my last jobs prior to going back to school for design, my coworkers would always say, well, you're in the wrong profession, you should be a model, because I used to dress, if I do say so myself. But it wasn't until I met someone that we may be familiar with, Anarissa Bernard. I always tell this story. I met her during a play at Upstage Theater with Dr. Ava Bruce Turner. I always put that Bruce in there. Because she looked like she could be one of them Bruce ladies. But I met her, and she noticed I liked the dress, and she said, you should go to school for design. I was at a turning point in life. I decided to go for it. I said, well, I'll go to school for design. And so I went to LSU and studied design, and here I am designing. There's so many kids that are dealing with it, and there's so many kids who don't understand what it is. That's A. And B, what to do with it. So for me, being a second grade teacher has actually helped me to heal with a lot of those hurts. After getting to know those kids and what they deal with, and understand how kids really are kids, and now I'm able to be on the other side of that to let these kids know, like, do not let that affect you. Because a lot of bullying, believe it or not, comes from hurt people. Like that loving family that you come from, sometimes those bullies, they don't come from that type of family. So because they know that you do, or you carry yourself as though you do, jealousy. And so they will do nothing but try to make you feel bad for something that you've been blessed with. So that's when you have to really be strong. And if I'm all over the place with my answers, y'all gotta forgive me. But it's just as real and raw as I can get.
You know, you said at the end where you said be strong.
Mm-hmm.
That's I'm in a program, Be Strong,
Mm-hmm.
and it just talks about how you should help others
Mhm.
and tell others to be strong.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's a good thing. I think that more schools should implement programs that help kids be able to properly identify bullying for real. And I think that that's the reason why I'm where I am right now, because you can pay me to believe that I'll be in elementary school. But I feel like that's my calling alongside of this, because I'm able to catch things as they happen. For my viewers out there, the reason why I love children so much is because when you go to counseling, if you ever have to go to counseling, your counselor sits there and they will tell you something that sounds a little something like this. Go back into your childhood and tell me what happened this day, that day, that day, that day. So I'm able to catch them where they are as children once their personalities start to develop. I'm starting to catch them and instill that self-love that was not instilled within me. And that's a big one too. You have some kids who love is not being instilled within them. So they don't know how to rise above the bad things that bullies do or say. In fact, I have a kid in my class who told me verbally that he does not love himself. And so I had to ask again to make sure I heard what I heard. And before I knew it, like, I had to stop myself from crying, because it's like rule number 1, never let them see you cry. But I had to really stop myself. But it became a very serious issue for me, because I've been there. I've been there where I struggle to love myself. I've been there. And so that just took me to a place when I didn't. And so I took that so serious. Like, I made him get up. Like, it was no asking you to get up. Like, no, you gonna get up, because we about to go sit outside and talk. Because I need you to know that you gotta love yourself. Because this world is not gonna love you. You got to be able to love yourself when this world don't love you. And so, of course, I called Mama. I let her know, like, he's not in trouble, and I don't want you to treat him as though he's in trouble, but I need you to know that he struggles to love himself. And so I need your help with that. I'm not putting it all on you, because sometimes our parents never learn how to love themselves either. So I just did everything in my powers to help him understand what self-love is and how important it is to love self. It starts with self. And unfortunately, a lot of our issues start when we're kids, and we just take it and carry it over into every stage of our lives. And by the time we get to a point to where we can understand what it is, we're already damaged. So I'm trying to stop folk before they hit that damaged place, because I've hit that damaged place. But by the grace of God, I'm still here. But not everybody is as strong as I am. I'm only strong because of the weaknesses that I had to deal with. So there you have that one. Yes.
Can you please close your eyes?
I can.
Close and tight.
They're closed. Woo, Jesus. Okay. Okay. Oh, I love little bags like this. I actually put bags on my wall. Oh. Also, I came up with my grandmother. So my grandmother was a praying, I love Jesus, we gonna take this to God woman up and down. So of course we didn't know those things. We didn't know it. And even the times recently when I feel like taking my life and talking to her, the first thing she would say is, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. Sometimes that's the problem, because sometimes we need somebody to listen. Even if you can't do nothing, I just need you to listen to me. Maybe you can point me in the direction of somebody who can do something.
That's big.
I encourage anybody who's dealing with that, the loss of someone due to suicide, I encourage healing. I really, really do, because one thing you can't do is blame yourself. It was an eternal issue, and unfortunately, he or they succumbed to it. And that's what has me here today, is the hurt that will bring on people around me, even if I have to live my life every day miserable. And I've had days where just like, I'm only here because of this person. In fact, my little brother Josh, my oldest little brother, he had some of the reasons, something to do with the reason why I'm here today, because there was a day where I had planned it out. I'll never forget. But that was also the day that my mom needed me to babysit him while she went to the store. And I remember looking at him and saying, "You the only reason why I won't do it." And so, I just think about everybody that they could hurt. And then I look at my life now and what all God has done. And I'm not where I want to be, but I'm getting there. I could have missed all of this. But we can't. Another thing I encourage people to do is not be angry. I know that's so hard, because it's so hard to not be mad at that person. Not that you don't love them, but it's because how could you? Like, you could have just come. You could have talked to me. I loved you. It's nothing personal. It's nothing. Look back to my childhood. A lot of my teachers encouraged that. Yeah, they did. And I don't mean it in saying that they said, "Oh no, do this." I did have some teachers who picked on me because I was a different little boy and all that like that. But if they witnessed the bullying, they didn't do anything about it. They were right there laughing and snickering and all that. The embarrassment in front of a class, embarrassment on the bus, and all of these public places. You're being embarrassed. You're being shamed. That's nothing that you, a parent, or any parent of a victim of suicide, there's nothing you can fault yourself for. Like, just imagine walking a mile in their shoes. Every time I'm in a public sector of people, I'm being shamed for something that I cannot control. That's hard. We gotta love each other. And if I have a student in my class, he's like the most gentleman student in my class. His cousin, he protects him at any and all costs. They're in the same class together, and he will not let anybody mess with his cousin. His cousin is not the most tough boy, but when I say he will come charging if you try to mess with his cousin. Those two have such a special place in my heart, because the little boy in me wishes that I had that cousin that would protect me, because I wasn't taught. My daddy wasn't there, so I wasn't taught how to be tough and fight back. I just wasn't. I just sat there and I took it. I took it getting hit on, getting beaten, getting abused, getting cursed out, cafeteria, auditorium, bus, everything like that. It was a lot. That's why I say that if you or someone you know are going through it, please stand up against it. Like, and this is not a generic message. I'm serious. I see this stuff every day at school in 2nd grade. I see it. If you know someone is dealing with something, talk to them, be there for them, stand up for them if you feel like they can't. Just do whatever you can, because life is so gentle, it's so fragile, but it can leave you at the drop of a hat. And so before we allow anybody else to take their lives due to bullying, let's do what we can do to stop it. That's it.